thank you so much for doing this interview with me, and thank you for the Hilton for setting up this area so we can do this interview. How you guys feel about being back home, Toronto, knowing you got new music, fans have been waiting for this, just getting out there and doing your thing? How's it feel?
Feeling amazing. The road was great, and it's always great to be home with my cat. And then we've got shows coming up here, so we're really excited for those. Yeah.
I was going to say, how long have you guys been on the road for?
We were on the road for about a week. It's a short little stint, but we're back, and then we're going to be doing 2 more shows in the next 2 weeks here, and then 1 more show after that.
Now, have you guys been playing the new music that we're about to be talking about?
Yeah, like a couple days before the tour, we had our set list all done and dusted, and then all of a sudden we were like, oh, we should probably hit that new single on the road, right? So John really crammed for that test and like got all the stuff together, and now we play Don't Know Me Without You live, and it's great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Congratulations on this. But, before we get into the new music and everything else, I want to talk about how you guys got together and how did this collaboration happen? Who was introduced to who? Who noticed who? How did this all happen?
Well, it's a long story, but we met at a band camp, if you can believe it.
This one time?
Yeah, totally. Actually, literally. And
wait a minute. Yeah. What instruments were you guys playing? Just curious.
So I'm actually a strings player. I'm a singer too, but the band camp itself, it's an orchestral camp. So John was he was teaching drums and I was teaching violin.
Okay.
And then we were playing guitar when we met. So...
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have you finish off.
Yeah, I was playing guitar. I'm really bad, and I wanted to do a little concert for all the kids to show you can do stuff that's out of your comfort zone. And it wasn't going so well. I saw she had a guitar, and we went to the same school anyway. So I was like, hey, you could probably help me. And so that's how we started. So she had like a book with a bunch of lyrics that were really cool. I was like, we should maybe do a folk band. And then we never did the folk band. We turned it into an electronic band, and thank goodness we did.
Okay, so when he's approaching, he's looking at your music, are you thinking, hey, this guy's going to steal my music, run or anything, or?
No, I was actually pretty happy to share. I'd written them in high school, so they were like old news to me almost by then, and then they got a second life, and we started to really connect with some of the songs, and I wanted to see them through. So we actually did record one of the songs like a folk band,
fantastic.
which is, you'll never see it. It's only in the cloud.
We know we can break into the cloud anytime. Okay, now, before you guys met, though, musically, what were you guys listening to? Like, what were you doing, and what were you listening to growing up?
Well, I was still in school at the time. I was just in university, and I had sort of figured out that I wanted to maybe not do opera as much. I was studying opera at U of T, and that's it's an interesting thing. It's a huge, giant process for the vocal cords to go through learning an opera degree and then coming back to pop music. It's an entirely different process. So
I was going to say, I mean, beautiful young lady in Toronto, growing up, opera? Where did that come from?
I don't know. I've just been doing music all the way through, and if you want to have a vocal degree, you can't do that as much in college. You really have to. I wanted to go to university. I had my heart set on U of T, and that was sort of the degree that called to me. So I had lots of friends that were going that way because I'd been studying music all the way through. We both went to Etobicoke School of the Arts for high school. So there was a lot of people who just wanted to keep it going, and I was one of those people.
Okay, and you, sir, growing up, the music bite, where did that come from?
I got music bite probably from my older brother, who basically didn't let anybody else play any other music in the house. So he's playing a lot of rock, a lot of classic rock, and I'm sort of got him more into the electronic stuff. He didn't really get into that, but he's older than me, so I kind of looked up to all this stuff. He 80s hair bands, and then Nirvana, all that stuff he introduced to me, and then I sort of went my own way after that.
Okay, now you guys said you went to a musical school, right? You said, and what was the school called again?
The school's called Etobicoke School of the Arts. That was our high school.
Okay, so me, old school kind of guy, grew up on Fame. Was it like that? And
Yes!
Yeah?
Exactly. You're 100% right. People were singing and dancing in the hallways.
Especially
totally.
The music theater specialty that I did as well. It's literally that. You just spontaneously break into song and dance, actually.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, people 4-part harmonies just at lunchtime. It's that's how it works.
I went to the wrong school.
You absolutely did.
Okay, so you guys get together, band camp. Oh my God, this is like movie from movie to movie here.
Right?
You guys get together. What's the writing process like, and how did you figure out Electronica was going to be the thing that's going to happen?
I think it's just kind of what we gravitated to. So at the time, I was doing a bunch of summer programs for opera and just different vocal degrees. And then at this time, I was learning Logic, which is the technology we use because we both have MacBooks, which is just natural. And when you're on Logic, there's a lot of synthetic noises in there. And we just started more and more like making these sounds. And they got a little bit darker. And we started finding our groove and then brought this stuff to producers. And we found our stride that way.
Okay, so we got the beat, but what about the lyrics and the stories? Where were you guys leading to with this, working together?
Well, I think Lexi, I leave it to her, basically, for the lyrics. She's one of those people that will have you write some chords, you have a couple of melodic ideas, and then she'll just go away for 15 minutes and write the song.
This
It's
sounds like
crazy.
the Elton John story. Lyrics then, how do the lyrics come to you for this?
You got to talk to the aliens, man.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Beam me up. They just come from the sky. I don't know. It depends. Like sometimes instead of like knowing like, oh, I'm going to set out to write a song about this thing, and that does happen too. But if he's written like a really interesting groove or vibe or whatever it is, sometimes I can just feel like what would that be about? If this music could tell a story, what would the music be saying? And then I get to write about that, and then it's just poetry from there.
Okay, so where has the music taken you guys for shows around this country?
Where we've been everywhere except for the West. I think we've done a lot of Ontario, Quebec. We played with a lot of, you got the list probably memorized, right?
We've opened for Alessia Cara on our Frosh tour. We opened for Walk Off the Earth and played with Deer Rouge, and just like we've had some like amazing opportunities so far. We have a show coming up that we can't tell you about yet.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Yes, you can.
When will you release this?
As soon as you tell me.
Here, let's boop, insert here. There you go. So that's going to be the show that we're going to play. And so there's just like more opportunities coming to us with those kinds of things. But as far as like playing our own shows and like headlining our own stuff, it's mostly been Ontario and Quebec, but quite extensively at this point.
I was going to say, didn't you guys last year do a show here at Yonge Dundas Square?
We did.
Yeah. What was that like?
That was really fun. It was a little stressful at the beginning because we're like, oh, can we do this? And it went on perfectly well. It was great, actually. Yeah, we were opening for the new Pornographers, and like we were like nervous. They're all hanging out in the backstage, and we played, and it went. I think people really enjoyed it. We had a great time too. Like everyone was like dancing, and more people than we knew knew the songs. So that was kind of a great eye-opening event for us.
So here you guys, you're traveling, you're writing music. When did somewhere along the line saying, I think we got enough music to make an album, and this is what's going to represent us across this nation? When did that start to come together?
I mean, as soon as we got the Factor grant, right?
Thank you, Factor.
What's up? So you're on sort of a timeline with those things, but like artistically speaking, to answer what I'm sure was that side of your question, we have more songs than 2 albums right now. They just are like flowing right out of us. So they're not all produced per se, but the ones that like the cream of the crop rises to the top kind of thing, like we have at least 9 that we know are going on this album right now that we're super proud of. And it's a more confident angle than the previous record that we wrote. Before, it was sort of the experience of going through a relationship and moving from volume 1 of that was going quite dark into the relationship and coming out the other side and finding a bit of yourself. And now we've written like the confident angle, and like what that character is like when she's like really in the limelight, really in the spotlight, and just feeling herself.
Kind of sounds like what you guys are like right now, in the spotlight. Now, we don't have a name of the album, though, but we do have a single that people are boogieing to.
Yes, we do. We were to figure out the album name. We've been actually discussing a lot, but Don't Know Me Without You is out. We're super excited about it. It went really well. On the tour, people really gravitated towards it. Videos coming out. When's it coming out, Lexi?
Thursday.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So we're like super stoked for it. It was very cinematic. There is a car chase scene in it. It was super awesome. We did get to drive a Porsche in the video. It's amazing. I make a brief appearance too, but.
Okay, what was the training like to do this for a car chase?
Well, I was filming while driving, and the camera was strapped to the hood of the car, so I couldn't really see, and I was driving myself, so we had permitting in place. Like, this was legal. Okay, it was legal. But it was
Correct.
like, to say that it wasn't dangerous is like maybe not the truth. So, I don't know. It was a little difficult, but there was no training whatsoever, and it happened at 6 a.m.
Now, you're the lyric lady, so what's the song about, please?
Don't Know Me Without You. It's originally, it was about a relationship that in many forms existed, sort of. We like to write about our experiences sort of through compose. We don't really focus on like this one incident that happened that one time and writing that story. It's more like the feeling of, right, and writing about that. So Don't Know Me Without You was supposed to be don't know me without you, don't know myself without this other person. But then when Ian McMillan, the director for the video, and I got to talking, we got all jazzed about it and came up with a whole new empowered idea for it, because it's really the only song on the record that was sort of like standalone, is like, you're not the one in charge here. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Right. So for Don't Know Me Without You, it's don't know me without you, the dark side of myself. So it's very much the yin and the yang, and what can we do with playing up, like finding yourself and knowing that it's okay to sometimes be that dark side, that dark person, and like chasing that, holding on to that, and settling with it and living with yourself that way.
Amazing. Now, you've already mentioned tour going to happen, but do we have any idea when this album is going to be out, please?
January, I think 17th.
So lots of time to figure out a name then.
Lots of time. I mean, I have 36 names. Do you want to pick? Do you want to pick? Can someone help me?
I should put a list out and let the fans pick out
Maybe
which
we
one they
should.
want.
Maybe we should. I mean, we have this idea right now about how all of our music videos for this so far have had masked faces, and the reason for that is that, like, Featurette, we're very much about like the dream state, and we like to make these mini music videos that are very cinematic and beautiful and very dreamlike, right? So often the characters don't have masks or are obscured in some way, and so I'm trying to come up with this idea of like facelessness and this kind of thing, and like figure out how to incorporate all that we've built there with the title that hasn't been done 100 times before, basically.
Very cool.
Yeah.
2020, what are we looking at for that year?
2020, I think it's going to be a big year for us. I'm hoping that we're going to be doing the album, we're going to be touring the album. We're writing more stuff. Maybe some more things might pop up down the road. We'll see.
More car chases, more band cam, more fame, more fun. Social media is the place to go to follow you guys. Where do we go?
Absolutely. Everything's at Featurette Music. Nice and easy.
Folks, thank you so much for this interview. Looking forward to when the album comes out. Just looking forward to everything you guys are doing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Rudy. Mwah.